Good evening, thanks for joining us. They're one of the most recognizable icons in the world, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. And this weekend they brought one of their most cherished and famous traditions to Lloydminster, the RCMP musical ride. Precise moves, elegant horses, and pageantry par excellence. The hallmarks of a tradition that dates back over 100 years.
The late 1800s was actually the first recorded musical ride. It was done with 16 horses.
The Lloyd exhibition grounds were transformed for the 8th time since the early 1970s into a showcase for one of Canada's most storied institutions.
We're a very good promoter for Canada, for the RCMP throughout Canada. We're very recognizable, and of course the horses are the big draw.
Another big draw was the presence of a Saskatchewan rider who got a warm welcome home.
It's an amazing thing to be the only one from the province. It's such an honor to be representing the RCMP and representing my own province to the RCMP. It kind of works both ways. It's just it's so amazing to be the only one that gets to come forward. You know, everybody gets to cheer for me and not for 20 other people. It's pretty neat.
The musical ride entertained crowds on both Saturday and Sunday. The performance is put on by RCMP from all over Canada. It moves around the country in 4-year rotations. Next summer, towns in Manitoba and Northern Ontario will be treated to the display by Canada's finest. They're debilitating and painful diseases. Crohn's and Colitis affect 1 in 160 Canadians, including people here in Lloydminster. On Saturday, the Lloydminster chapter of the Crohns and Colitis Foundation got together for their annual Heal and Wheelathon. Walkers, riders, and even their furry friends made their way around Budmiller Park on Saturday morning. Everyone came together to raise money for the Lloydminster chapter of the CCFC.
We had raised $6,500 today with our participants through donations, online pledging.
Yuzik's daughter is living with Crohn's, and he says having a Lloydminster chapter of the foundation is needed for families to find support.
So it also enables us to have a support mechanism to get through the deal and deal with the illness, share ideas in terms of treatment.
He says the inflammatory bowel disease is a challenge for those living with it.
It's a lifelong illness. There's no cure, and it's mainly treated through addressing the symptoms of the disease. So
all of the CCFC chapters across Canada are walking and wheeling throughout June to raise money for the foundation. CCFC coordinator Stacey Emiot says events like this are important nationally and locally.
We know their sufferers here, but not all of them know we're here. So it's great for them to learn about us, to come on out, raise funds, support each other, and just feel like being proactive and doing something about their disease.
This is the 4th year the event has taken place in the border city. The CCFC hopes to raise more than $2 million across Canada. Well, Picassos came out of the woodwork this week in Lloydminster, culminating today with breaking arts borders.
So just remember to have the string on the needle and then the needle goes to the hole.
Arts Without Borders organized various art workshops throughout the week. Erica Morton says Sunday's event was a creative way to liven up the area outside the Bar Colony Heritage Cultural Centre.
We wanted to do an installation to make the courtyard a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more colorful, something more going on.
And even the youngest creative types used recycled materials to spruce up the place.
Also wanted to teach the kids about recycling, so I kind of got the idea of building my own trees, and then they can hang the stuff off of them.
Breaking Arts Borders held soap carving and mosaic activities this past week. Morton says events like this show that anybody can explore their artistic side.
I think it contributes to what Lloydminster has to offer for the arts. Like, it is a very small community, but we still are emerging, and we're trying to get stuff out there and open to the public to get more involved with the arts.
Local artists also contributed to the Emerging Artists Show at the Bar Colony Heritage Cultural Centre. The pieces will be on display there until the 18th of June.
The dust was flying as the CPCA Sega Pro Tour wrapped up their 3-day event in Yorkton this afternoon. Heading into the final day, Devin Mitsewing was leading the way in the aggregate with a two-day total of 205.79. But Gary Gorst was right on Devin Mitsewing's heels heading in, but capturing top spot on day 3 propelled Gorst past Mitsewing to capture the Yorkton Dodge Classic. BJ Carey came in second on the final day. Wayne Knight, who set a new track record in day 2, finished third today, and the Mitsewing son and father tandem rounded out the top 5. The CPCA now heads north to the Cold Lake for a 4-day show starting this Thursday. And from the track to the gridiron, and the Lloydminster Vandals opened up their 2011 season with a thumping of the Calgary Gators in a rematch of last year's AFL Championship. The defending champs are now 2-0 after slipping by the Central Alberta Buccaneers 31-28 yesterday. The Vandals will look to make it 3-0 next weekend when they host the Edmonton Stallions down in Wainwright. Shooting a bow and arrow has been around since man first started hunting. Now, instead of survival, the purpose is sport. This weekend, the Lloydminster and area Archers Club held their annual outdoor 3D shoot. Sean Zumack has been shooting for 10 years.
It's a year-round sport. For me, I'm also a hunter, so this is a bit of practice for that. But it's a sport I love. I love teaching it to the kids, and anyone can do it.
The bow and arrow vet was joined by over 100 shooters taking aim at the 3D targets.
It improves on our skill on judging yardage, shooting in different types of terrain, whether it's wide open, we're shooting through tunnel shots in the trees, or around obstacles.
We have kids out here age 3 and 4 years old pulling little tiny bows, shooting little tiny arrows. We've got guys who've been shooting it years and years. We've got people in their 60s and 70s that shoot it, and we all shoot side by side.
This year's 2-day annual outdoor 3D shoot was used as a Saskatchewan provincial qualifier. For Austin Glynn, he knows what it's like to have early success in the sport.
Last year for regionals for paper, I took 5th in Canada, and this year I got 3rd. I went to indoor 3D nationals and I had 1st. Not a busy Sunday in the NSRBL unless you're the Kindersley Raiders. The 3-2 squad played a doubleheader today against a couple Border City clubs. The first game against the Blue Jays, this one needed extras. The Raiders squeaked it out in the bottom of the 10th, 10-9 the final. Kindersley improved to 4-2 while the Jays dropped to a game below 500. In Game 2, the Raiders faced the Junior Redhawks, and I don't have a final for you right now. And that's all the time we have for news, weather, and sports. Have a good evening, everyone.